Hey everyone, Tina Hogan Grant here with my Cuppa A Natter that I like to do twice a month on a Monday. I like to bring authors into my home. We talk about books, writing, life as an author, and whatever comes to mind. And this evening, award-winning author Lee Lindauer is joining me. How are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing fine, Tina. Glad to be with you.
I'm excited to talk to you about your books. Before we get started, can you just let us know where you're from and just a little background or whatever you'd like to share?
Okay, well, I live in Colorado, western part of the state, Grand Junction, Colorado. Also, my wife and I spend a little bit of time in Nevada, but this is basically our home base. My background is not in writing, not in literary the field at all. It was in the engineering field, so I did that for like 36 years. So it gives me a little bit of different perspective on the writing. But anyway, that was my background, and I started doing some writing about 10 or 15, 20 years ago. So that's kept me busy, and I enjoy doing it.
Fantastic. And you said Grand Junction is where you're at?
Mm-hmm.
My sister is in Grand Junction.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times. Beautiful, beautiful.
It is. It's really it's not what you would think of Colorado. It's totally different. But I was kind of born. Well, I wasn't born here, but I was raised here, and so I came back in the late '70s and started a business. Yeah, it's a very unique place. There's no question about it.
She took me to a beautiful drive, and my memory is shot because this has been a few years ago. But we went up to some beautiful park above
Colorado National Monument.
Thank you. There we go.
That's right behind my house.
Oh, really? What a fantastic view.
Yeah.
And before that, she lived in Clifton, which is not too far from
Grand. Yeah, right. Yeah, to the east, yeah.
Small world. Small world.
It is.
It is time for me to go back there and pay a visit. And if I do, I'm going to look you up.
Oh, do look me up. Please do that.
I certainly will. We have a few people joining us. I do want to pop them up and say hi. Again, I am talking to Lee Lindauer. We're going to talk about his book, The Salvation of Henry Maxwell. If you have any questions for Lee, go ahead and pop them in the comments, and I will get to as many as I can. We have Virgie here joining us. We have a Karen Geeling. She says, hello, Tina and Lee. We have Krista, and she says, hello from North Minnesota. Virgie is here. She says, hello. And I'm sorry, Cassandra Jane. There's Virgie right there. There she is. So, Lee, when did you start writing again? What year did you start writing?
Well, I think I started writing about 2000. I just thought it would be kind of fun to do. I was, heavy in my career and all that. And I thought it would be nice to do something a little different. And I started writing some short stories and that kind of stuff. And eventually got into trying to do some novels, which I'm still trying to perfect after all these years. So it's been about 25 years, I guess, if you really want to look at it from the very beginning.
Wow. And was there any kind of life events that inspired your work?
No, I always, with an engineering background of mine, I always had a feel for wanting to do some writing because it's so different from the technical aspects of what I was doing in the real world. But I always enjoyed in high school, I enjoyed the literary classes, the English classes. And in college, even in my curriculum of engineering, we had to take some humanity type courses. And I think it was good to get off of the nuts and bolts end of the thing and actually do something that is different and it's enjoyable. And I enjoy, just something that kind of stuck with me and something that I don't regret, I guess, put it that way.
Right. Yeah. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And your latest book, we're going to talk about that one first, The Salvation of Henry Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
And that was published when?
September of last year.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the book next to you by chance?
I
do. Good.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you before we went live. Okay. Great.
I'm glad I got one here.
Great cover. I don't want you to give anything away, but why did you choose that building? How does it represent, without giving anything away in the book, the story?
Well, if you look closely, it's a mausoleum.
Okay.
So that ought to give you a little bit of something. But the book is about a man who was a former horror actor back in the 60s, like Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and all those kind of guys. So you know what kind of movies they did,
Mm-hmm.
kind of gothic horror type of stuff. So you know that kind of fits with the scheme of the whole thing. So.
Okay. Okay. And is this a standalone or is it going to be a series?
I wish it was not a standalone, but it is a standalone. I mean,
Oh,
I
you
guess you could
wish?
do a prequel, but no, it kind of has a beginning and an ending. So put it that way.
Could you do anything with the sub characters of the book? Maybe
That's a possibility.
that's what I tend to do. I'll have a
Possibility.
book, and
Yeah,
there'll be the protagonist, but she has these friends circling around her. So then I'll
right.
move
Yeah.
off and tell that character's story.
No, there's a possibility of going into a sequel on that, or a prequel, or a series with one or two of the characters. But I haven't given that much thought, but that's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, and with this book, what inspired this book? You say it's gothic horror, a murder. What inspired this book?
Well, you know, I grew up as a kid in the 60s, and I remember going to those matinees on Saturday that would feature some of these people like Vincent Price, and they would, you know, those old Roger Corman films, The Pit and the Pendulum and House of Usher, Fall of the House of Usher, and I just enjoyed that type of plot and storyline, and so that kind of kept with me all these years, and I never forgot that. And I thought, well, yeah, that'd be nice to try to recreate that somehow many years beyond. And so
Right.
that's what inspired me, was basically the Saturday matinees.
Wow. And then the books you've written previously, we'll talk about in a little bit. Are they all the same genre? Gothic, mystery, murder?
No, this one's really different. The first two were basically international thrillers, and they take place here and in, you know, elsewhere. But they're more of a fast-paced thriller. This is more of a suspense, mystery, gothic romance, if you want to throw that in there.
Okay.
So it's quite different than those. And I've actually enjoyed taking this bend in the road, this you know, fork in the road, to something different than the other two. I mean, I enjoyed doing the thriller type stuff, but this one's a little bit more encompassing.
Okay. Now, when did you start writing this book, the latest one, The Salvation of Henry Maxwell?
Well, I'm not a fast writer. I take my time. Probably started at about 4 years ago, I'm thinking.
Okay. And it was published last year?
Last year. Mm-hmm.
Last year. So it took you a few years, but hey, that's good. That's perfectionist as far as I'm concerned.
Well, yeah. And I think if anybody who is, and you know this as well as I do, it takes a while. It takes time, unless you're John Grisham and you're on a $1 million schedule. I guess it'll make
right.
you
Or James Patterson.
So yeah, Patterson. But then you get a lot of help doing that too. So
yeah, that's true. With his co-authors, I see that.
Oh yeah.
Now, when you start to read the book, I'm going to keep using your latest one as an example, The Salvation of Henry Maxwell. You got this idea in your head. You want to write this story. Do you plot the book, or are you a pantser where you just sit down, listen to the characters, and let them tell you your story?
I had kind of an ending all of a sudden on this, and because of those movies I saw in the 60s, and you know, there's always those creepy coffins or something, you know, and I said, there's something there, but I didn't want this book to be horror. It's not horror. It's not horror at all. It's a, like I said, it's a mystery, suspense, gothic romance. So that I had the ending kind of how I wanted it to happen. Then I had to go back from that ending and go backwards to add the plot to it. And so it's kind of a backward way of doing it, but it worked out pretty well on this book.
That's
you know, the other two books, I pretty much plotted it out, and I didn't know exactly what the endings would be doing. But this one, I knew how the ending needed to.
So you kind of worked backwards to chapter 1.
That's true.
Of all the authors I've interviewed, that's the first.
Yeah, yeah.
Know the ending first and then right to the beginning.
Nobody said this was an easy job. Yeah, but that's how it worked out with this, and I think it worked out very well. So
excellent. And I want to emphasize, because you said it's not horror, is that the character in this book was an actor for horror movies.
he was just like Vincent Price in those days, very at the top of his game, doing many movies back in the 50s and 60s. They did all these, they would do 1 or 2 movies a year. I mean, it was a whole different situation back then, but he was like that character, and had a niche of the type of movies he did. And so basically Henry Maxwell is kind of modeled on a Vincent Price type of character.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to pop us some comments of a lot of our readers love those movies. Do you have a favorite Vincent Price movie?
I think I like to Follow the House of Usher.
I'm sorry, which one?
House of Usher, Fall of the House of Usher.
I've not seen that, and I've not watched a lot. I've watched a few.
That's it's an Edgar Allan Poe story. But the neat thing about that book and the movie is the house actually is a character. It is considered a character of the main character, really. So that's what was so inviting about trying to do this book, because this book also has a house in it, and it's where Henry resides. But I thought it was kind of unique that if you really read that book or see that movie, you can see how the house actually is a main character.
Okay, and I like the name Henry Maxwell. It sounds like an actor's name. How did you come up with, especially Maxwell?
Well, Maxwell, my engineering background in college and so forth, there was a physicist named James Clerk Maxwell. I think he was Scottish.
Okay.
Who did a lot of main electromagnetic theories and so forth. And the name Maxwell stuck with me after learning about him a little bit. So that's where that name came from. And Henry just kind of fell in place. He's an older fellow. He's 85 years old. What would his name be when he was born in the 20s or whenever that was? And Henry just popped right into my head.
Together beautifully. It's a great name. I want to pop up some comments and see some other people have joined us. Let me see what right here. Let me pop them up. Cassandra just sounds like a good story. Connie Rosenberg is here. She mentions the movie you mentioned. She said it sounds good. I saw some comments. I want to go further up if my computer will let me. No. Hold on 1 second. I'll get bear with me, people. My computer. Oh, here we go. I saw one. Okay, Elaine Sapp is here. She is asking, is this book on Kindle Unlimited? Do you know?
It is on Kindle. As far as Unlimited, it might be. I can't tell you on that.
Okay.
But it's it's a print book or Kindle.
Okay, perfect. I can't look it up, but Elaine, if you want to pop over to Amazon, because she's great at doing that stuff for me, and see if it is on KU, and we can let the other ones know. Let me see. Cassandra says, I watched those movies with my grandparents. Always a wonderful time. And let's see. I saw a couple of questions up here I want to get to. Just give me a minute. Sometimes they go by a little too quick. We'll get there. Okay, one question I did see. Oh, here we go. This is more of a panster, but I want to put it up there anyway. Do your characters talk to you while you're writing the book? Do they kind of try and take over what you're plotting or writing?
Now that you mention it, that's an interesting question. Yeah, I think they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, because you got to try to get into each character and you try to separate them from the others. And they are talking to you. They're saying, no, that's not what I'm going to do. You say, okay, how would you do it? And then, after some back and forth, you'll get an answer. But that they do talk to you. They have to.
Yeah, they have to. And I'm a panster. I'll sit down and I'll just wait.
Yeah.
If I don't hear anyone talking to me, I'm going to go get a cuppa. I'll come back and wait for them. But yeah, I'm definitely a panster. But I love this idea of and right in the ending first. That really got to me. I was like, okay, this is a new one. I
Yeah.
really do like that one. This is off topic from the book we're talking about, but Karen would like to know, are you working on anything new now that Maxwell, the Salvation of Henry Maxwell is published?
Well, I'm struggling with a new one. I haven't had much time on it recently. This year, things been kind of fast and furious. But yeah, I do have one. I've started, and it's about a. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get this write something that I enjoyed as much as I did writing the Salvation of Henry Maxwell. But this other one, I have hope on it. It's about it's basically a study in magic. If I could say that, it's magic is, it starts out, the history of magic started out as, magic, sorcery, and that kind of stuff. Religion all of a sudden got involved in it, and then you got science. So you got those three type of progressions, and the basically theme of this is about the plot is about a man who falls from being one of the top Las Vegas entertainers, magicians in residency in Vegas, and how his life has transformed after he goes through a horrible downfall. And he gets involved he was a magician, he did stage magic, and he gets involved in a situation of paranormal stuff and also of the religious aspect of magic. So that kind of how the book is going to flow. And but I'm still in the process of, I've got a plot, but I'm still in the process of trying to fit it all together and to see how it'll work out. So
I see what the characters have to tell you too.
So what's that?
See what the characters are going to tell you too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it seems like your protagonist is in the entertainment industry.
That's true. That's very interesting. I never did make that connection.
Yeah. You've got the magician, you've got the actor.
Yeah.
In this book. Now, what about the previous two? Are they in the entertainment industry?
The very first one was a mathematics professor.
Okay.
I love math, and that one is called the Irrational Fears, very first book. And the second book was called the Sava Steps, and that has a doctor as the protagonist. Now, both those books, the protagonists were women, and so they're different, but they are fast-paced international type thrillers. The first one has to do with the short water in the world and how the corporations are trying to control it. And the second book had to do about the history of the Balkan problem in the 90s when you had the Srebrenica massacre and all that stuff, and how that affected a woman from that time. And so they're totally different. Everything's different.
Right.
And this one is doubly different. So.
And they're all standalones, no series.
They're all standalones.
Do you think you'll write a series?
I don't know. If you're successful for the first one, they're expecting something else, I assume. So I don't know. I know a lot of people do series.
I do series.
I've just never gotten into thinking that I could do that. So
what I like about the series is it creates a backlist.
Mm-hmm.
And when I have two series right now. The one I'm writing now was supposed to be a standalone, but now it's going to be a series. But when I do a series, I only promote book 1. I don't promote book 8, book 7, book 6, book 5. Yeah. There's no point. Most readers, and I say most because some can pick up a series in the middle of a book and read it, but most would like to start at book 1 and go forward. So if they're not interested in book 1, they're not going to move forward. So I always, but it creates a read through by just one book. By promoting one book, you get a read through. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. I mean, that's why a lot of people do that, and I can understand why they do it, because you get a following to it, and then you've already got an audience that's waiting for the second one. So it does make sense.
And the thing about writing a series too, though, I mean, I was my readers know, but I was getting a little agitated because this book I just finished was taking too long. And with a series, you have to keep popping out those books because the readers don't like to wait. And the longest I've written, I've taken to get the next book is this one. And it's going to be almost a year since book 1. Normally, I like to make it 6 months. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. If you're going to write a series, you got to
Well,
Help them out.
it's a job.
It's a job. It's a job.
It's a job to keep at it. Yeah, I mean, there's no
It
question
is. It
about it.
is. There's a whole different concept with writing a standalone than writing a series. What you're doing is perfect. You're standalone. You admitted you're not a fast writer, so you don't have that pressure of writing
No.
book two.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that
exactly.
would be
Right.
that would be something, if you want to be a series, that you'd have to keep in mind. So
Yeah.
I'd love to write a standalone, but I just can't. I've tried. This book I just published was supposed to be a standalone. It didn't work out too well. Elaine looked at your book on Amazon, and she said it's not on Kindle Unlimited, but the Kindle is only $5.99, which is a great price.
Yeah.
She is. That's correct. And then I want to pop up. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to go down here. There we go. Cassandra is also an author, and she says, I start off plotting, but it never lasts long. The books you've written, do you think you're going to do any other genre or stay with the genres you do? Like
I kind of like the direction this book went. You know, the first two, they were international type thrillers because, you know, I'm a member of the International Thriller Writers, and I meet some of these fellow authors that do that, and I try to follow along their lines of how they're doing things. But it seems like this day and age, for some reason, it's hard to get something like that really out to the public. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try something a little different. And this one was more fun to write. But the first, I'll have to say, though, in my engineering background, the very first one, The Irrational Fears, I really put a lot of detail into it. And that was, I really had to cut back on that because I overdid the detail. And that was probably from my engineering background.
Probably, yeah.
But it turned out very well. And but it was a lot of work, a lot of research went into that book, and the second book too. Not so much in this third one, but in those first two, a lot of research went into those.
Okay, and the Salvation of Henry Maxwell, how many pages is it?
In this, it's a 5x8. I think it's 368 pages.
That's a good sized book.
It's a little over 90,000 words, I think, or close, you know, somewhere in that neighborhood.
That's a very, very good book. I mean, very good sized book.
Yeah.
Dana is here. She wants to know, do you have any hobbies?
I like to play pickleball.
Oh, cool.
Everybody likes to play pickleball nowadays. So
I never played it, but I've heard about it.
It's a lot of fun. And my wife and I, and we're in fact going on another river trip here. We used to do a lot of river rafting back in the day.
Fun.
We have, did our own raft with groups of friends and everything, but we've done quite a few rivers. Especially where I live, you got a lot of rivers to do it. The Colorado River, the Green River. Mm-hmm. We did the Colorado River through the Grand Canyon, which was probably the ultimate trip. But yeah, we used to do that. We're going to do one in June coming up here. So we haven't done one in a couple, 2 or 3 years. So, and we like to camp, do that kind of stuff, outdoor stuff. So
excellent. Does she read your books, your wife?
She helped edit it for me at the beginning. She's very good with a red pencil. She's a former English, middle school English teacher. So yeah, that's been a help.
Okay. And do you have children?
We have one daughter. Basically, I got married a little later. It's her daughter from a previous marriage. And she's, oh my gosh, I hate to say how old she is now, but she lives back in Ohio. Okay. And so just one kid. And
what about the rest of the family? Do they read your books?
They say they do, but I'm not sure. Even my wife's family, I think one of them read the book, but the rest of them, they're not much. There's not a lot of readers in our families for some reason. I don't know what it is. I love to read.
Yeah, me too. My dad was an author.
So I know that.
I was caught up on books. So,
and that was one of the fields that I thought I could write in was science fiction, but no, that takes a lot of.
It does, and you guys true to fact science. I mean, I call it hardcore science fiction, and my dad had a brilliant mind. He had a brilliant mind with his books, and And this is when he was alive, and I'd read a paragraph and I'd say to myself, what did I just read? Because it
What
just
did you read? Exactly.
went
Yeah.
right over my head. And I would have to call Dad and say, okay, Dad, in English terms,
Yeah.
you know, what did I just read?
What were you talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the people that read his books, followed him, they understand it completely. That was their field. That
Yeah.
was, their interest. But there's many books that, were at my level that I could read.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah. Okay, Belinda has a question for you. She would like to know, do you do book tours or book signings?
Well, I've done a couple book signings. I'm not a fan of them unless you are really pushed by a big publisher. I think the return is not that great. I think the best thing is to just do what we're doing here, and if the word gets out, things happen. But unless you've already got a branded name, people aren't going to normally go to somebody and see Lee Lindauer at a book signing. I don't think they don't know who he is.
Right.
And so no, I've like I said, I've done a couple of them, and they've been successful. But it's something that takes a lot of time and effort.
It takes a lot of time and effort. And if you do it locally, I'm doing one on Thursday here in my local vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to me to push it.
Exactly.
It's up to me to let the locals know. I mean, the bookstore here is an indie bookstore. She has put it in the paper, which is great. But it's up to me to let my friends know and people that I know and get the word out that way and through our local bulletin boards online and stuff like that. But it's if you go to a big bookstore like Barnes and Nobles, that is even harder because, like you said, if you don't have a brand name, who's going to come?
I did one on the first book at a Barnes and Noble, and we had a great crowd because they were all friends of ours.
Great, that's what you want.
I haven't done one there since, but this last book, Salvation of Henry Maxwell, last October I did a signing at our local arts center here in Grand Junction, and that was really successful because you get a lot of artsy community coming in, and it was enjoyable. So that worked out pretty well.
There's a lot. And another thing I like to do too is I like to do, believe it or not, craft festivals, and any kind of like festivals local. I just did one over the weekend, but it's when you think about books, it is a craft. We're creating stories.
It is. It's an art. It's an art form.
So I've been doing a lot of these festivals, and they're doing really well. So it's another way to reach readers and, meet people and stuff like that. So I've been doing those quite often. I really enjoy those too.
So you're located in California?
I'm in California. I'm in a small mountain town, Fraser Park.
And where's that at exactly?
It's like 2 hours north of LA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, north of Magic Mountain. Keep going, keep going. Yeah.
All right. So this book, Salvation of Henry Maxwell, takes place in LA and Malibu.
Okay.
So, but last year ago, April, I did a book signing, not for this book, but for the other two at the LA Book Festival at USC.
Yeah, I was there last year.
Yeah. And that was fun.
Yeah, crazy busy though.
Crazy, yeah.
A lot of people. But I did it last year and it was hot. The weather, it was hot. Okay, I'm going to take a pause from the questions. Well, I'm looking, it's 5:30. So are you ready to read a little excerpt for us?
I can. A little excerpt here. It's basically Henry, has some, he's grieving over the loss of his wife some 40 years ago. So, and then what's happening now in the book, there's been a bunch of some serial killings that have happened that mimic some of the scenes in his movies. So he's been arrested, thinking that the sheriff's department thinks he might be involved in these killings. So he's been arrested and he's been taken to interrogation. And what I'll read here is after the right at the end of the interrogation, is where he comes in and he's thinking this after they've hammered him really good, playing good cop, bad cop.
Okay.
But anyway, and remember he's 85 years old, so he's not his mind isn't totally there all the time. Okay, here it is. Okay, the room melted into a haze, And Maxwell went into a dream so full of joy and happiness, a dream with Lillian. I might paraphrase or say that's his wife, for those who don't know. A dream with Lillian, vivid with sensual smiles and radiating tingles, frolicking beneath the moon, playing hide and seek among the statues. He sensed her tenderness, her gentle touch that would greet him after a trying day. But it was on set, his films that kept overriding the sweetest of dreams. Films offered security and a wonderful life for Lillian and himself. This man, Tony, this sleazy dago, insinuating things about his work, bad things. Maxwell began to sweat. The old Olive Building, how can I forget? The bloated body in the cellar, grotesquely rotting, eyeballs resting on his maggot-squirming chest. The director had planned well. Herbert Bass, yes, I remember his name. He pulled a coup with the grotesque corpse. I wanted real eyeballs, gleaming and shiny, dripping with vitreous, maybe from some real corpse. No, Herbie called for glass ones, like marbles. His only mistake, in my opinion. Come to think of it, Herbie died several years ago. Fantastic director, eyeballs or not. I must say that scene outclassed Vincent Price's Morella. Oh, we had such positive competition, Vincent and me, all in good fun. And the two innocent intruders showing up unexpectedly. What a wonderful addition in the script. Two young people, a full life ahead for both. Their presence added so much in the scene. If only Herbie had given me better direction with such simple butchery. Still, it wasn't bad. And what else did that dago Tony mention? A young woman hanging by her feet, blood dripping on the floor like a koshered lamb. Was I not there a while back, the old mission? The high roof beam where the rope hung? How did I ever get it up there without help? He shook his head, touched his chest. No pain yet. Tears materialized. But no matter. This was a Saturday matinee for kids. The audience craved more. They always did. And she was naked, of course. Screw those PG ratings. The teenagers loved it. Why not? I was magnificent. The second take is always the best. Practice makes perfect. Maxwell sighed, relegated himself from his dreams, and wiped his mouth. He looked up from the floor. So, Tony, what is it you want from me? D'Angelo stood up and slammed the notepad back down on the table. Why the hell did you do those sadistic pieces of surgery? And the young woman, for God's sake, man, do you like to reconnect at the expense of living, breathing human flesh? Is that how your warped old mind now gets its jollies? Maxwell grabbed the notepad, tossed it back at D'Angelo, hitting him in the head. His old eyes blazed a tempest. Why not? Like in the movies, I like to kill. I killed them all. Any other questions? So he's kind of gone into this thought process that he really did all these murders because his mind is not all there right now. So that's that.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. I really did. It sounds intriguing. And we got some comments up here from Connie says, I love the live reads. And also, they love live read. I love hearing an author read from their work. For me, and I'm sure it's the same for the other readers here too. So when you they listen to you read, they pick up the book, they start reading it, they're going to hear you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it just sticks with the readers.
I wish I had a voice that would.
Oh, you did great.
A little better, but
you did great. I think you did
great.
Barbara says, thank you for the reading. Your book sounds intriguing. Then we have, I just like popping up the comments. Karen says, very intriguing. And one more. Cassandra says, sounds like my kind of book.
I think it is.
So there we go. So Elaine Stapp already confirmed to us that it's not on Kindle Unlimited, but it is on Kindle. Mm-hmm. Do you know if it's wide, like on Barnes & Noble, Nook, Kobo?
It is. It is. I think it's on all of those. Barnes & Noble's, Nook, Kobo, is it? And even some like, you can probably even get it on Walmart or
if you're
Target or some of those too. But yeah, it's on most of those venues. So.
And it's on print paperback.
And it is print paperback. Yeah.
And then what about audio?
It is not on audio. I've had so many questions on that, and I just haven't. It's something I should really examine, but at this moment, it's not.
It's not cheap either.
It is not cheap.
I've been trying to get my trilogy on audio. It seems like forever, but I'm getting there. But it's not cheap. Especially being an indie author, it's an expense out of your pocket.
It is. It's like $3,000 or $4,000, I think. Just I could be wrong on that, but I think that's probably a minimum to get.
Yeah, you can get. I won't do it. I'm not gonna use that word, but you can have an AI narrator from Amazon, ACX. My personal preference is no, because AI has not learned how to show emotions when they read a book.
That is very interesting that you brought that up. I mean, any more you get on the computer and you look at something and you'll get a video and it's going to be an AI background and the voices are so fake. Mm-hmm. I just turn it off. I just can't do that.
Yeah. I've listened to just a couple of samples of AI narrated books and I couldn't get through the first chapter. No. And that's my personal preference. Other readers are fine with it. But for me, it's a personal preference. And if I can't listen to an AI book, then I shouldn't expect my readers to.
No. And you want the characters to sound different. You want
the emotions,
having different emotions when they're,
Yeah. So that's my preference, but they do offer it to authors for free.
Yeah.
It's tempting for a lot of authors just to get it out there, but you could.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's an option. It's an option that's out there. Elaine's put up a nice comment. She says, I will share your book on all of my platforms.
Oh, thank you, Elaine. Appreciate that.
Yes, that's awfully nice of her. Let me see. Hold on. My problem is I see a question. Okay, I'll ask that in a few minutes and then it's gone. I have to scroll back up to find it. Let me see, what's this one? You are new to me and your books sound fascinating. Okay, wonderful. There was a question up here that I wanted to pop up. Of course I can. Oh, here we go. Belinda, she wants to know, do you have any pets?
I do. And I have a cat who I had to put out the room. Otherwise, he'd be right in front of me on this desk. And his name is Milo.
Oh, I like that name.
And he's the friendliest thing around and loves people. And gets on the kitchen cabinets too often. But other than that, what can I say?
Any other pets or just Milo?
Just Milo.
Do you have any animals in your books?
No, I don't. I have a problem writing about an animal because I get too they mean a lot. Mm-hmm. And I've read books where the animal gets killed or something, and I can't.
I don't know why they do that.
I can't do that.
It's really bad for that.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's gotten to the point where if I see a dog in a movie, I won't watch it because I'm afraid the dog's going to die.
That's me too. The reason they put them in there is because they know people like animals, they like pets, and if something bad's going to happen to that's really going to pull your strings, So
I mean, it's
a writing technique, I'm sure.
I mean, I have animals.
Not for me right now.
Yeah, I have animals in my book, but they all
live.
They make it through the book. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. But Old Yeller, that was it for me.
Oh yeah, no, I'll never forget. I'll never. I still cry every time I think about that.
Yeah, it's like, come on. Dana, she wants to know: do you have a special place you like to write?
Not really. I mean, my little office here, and then we spend time in Nevada also, 3 or 4 months out of the year down there. So we have I have an office down there also. So I write in both spots, and I don't think one's any more effective than the other.
Okay. Do you have to have complete silence when you write, or are you okay with some background noise?
I pretty much, I think when I was in college, I used to do my studies with some music playing in the background, but I haven't really done much of that here. I don't have any background noise, but I don't know if it would affect my writing or make my mind wander, and that's probably what it would do. So I think I do the best, writing a page or two at a time, going back over it, and then being done for a bit, and then get back into it. But yeah, I think I would be, it would interfere with the writing.
With the noise. Yeah, I agree
noise.
with you. I gotta have silence. And when it comes to writing a book, it doesn't matter. We'll stay with the Salvation of Henry Maxwell. What was the hardest part about writing this book?
I think the hardest part, the first draft, I might have had it sequenced different. And when I figured out by some comments that this should happen before this happens, then you'd have to go back through it and try to, like rearrange the furniture. You'd have to pull this part, should be over here in the front, be in front of that part, because then it makes it flow a little better. And that was the hardest part, trying to figure that out. But in my view, that was the best thing that I could do, is to rearrange the segments of the plot, and it worked out much better. But other than that, first draft, second draft, third draft, they all take time, and they're all time consuming, and you have to do it. So
that's true.
But you'll never be perfect on it, but you're close to perfect, I guess.
Yeah, we do the best I can.
You do the best you can. Yeah.
But that's all we can do. And I just want to pop up. Rose joined us a little while ago, so I want to say hi to Rose. Thank you for joining us, Rose. And then there was a question for earlier on. I can't find it, but it's a good question. So I apologize to the reader. But the question was, I can't remember the question now. Hold on one second. Oh, what do you do to celebrate once a book has been released?
Probably going out and having a beer.
Here it is. It was Lori. Ah, there you go. There was
glass of wine or something. I don't know. Just glad that it's after all that hard work, it's out there, and you hope people read it and enjoy it. That's the whole point. You're not going to make $1 million on this. You want people to enjoy something that came out of your thought process, and if they enjoy it, then that makes it all worthwhile.
There you go. And then Krista, she has a question. This is a little while ago. I'm finding this question. How was it to see your book on shelves in bookstores or libraries?
Actually, since it's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, you don't get a lot of that bookshelf stuff. But I was able to entice the Clark County Library System, which is Las Vegas, into putting my books in their system. And they, in fact, bought some books, all 3 of the books. And so that kind of made me feel good that they liked them enough to put them into the system. So
that's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah. It's very hard to get your book out, like you said earlier. It really is. We have to wear many hats being so. The easy part for me is writing the book.
I think you're right. And the hardest part is
marketing.
It's just,
yeah.
We'd all love to have St. Martin's Press or somebody like that, or Grand Central Publishing, come up and say, we're going to take care of all that for you. That'd be great.
That'd be great. But then they take, you get very little royalties, number one.
Yeah. And if you're,
and you lose control of your book.
30 years younger, and they see they can market, they can milk you for 20 or 30 years. They might do that, but.
Yeah. Belinda wants to know, do you ever name your characters after family members?
No.
No, that was quick. Are any of your characters based on anyone you know?
Yes.
Do they know?
No.
I wonder if they read your books and recognize little pieces of themselves.
I don't know. Like I said, not many family members have read it. Even my sister, she says she's read it, but I don't believe her. So... Yeah, I could write a book about some family members, but it would probably not be something that they would want to see. So I'm not going to do that.
There you go. And how about a website, Lee? Do you have a website?
I do. It's LeeLindauer.com. And it's just Lee Lindauer. And Lindauer is, if you know how to spell Linda, Linda is with a UER after it, so Lindauer. So it's leelindauer.com.
Okay, perfect. So I'll probably put that in the comments too after
Okay.
the chat. The book you're working on now that you said you're trying to still put it together, blah, 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 blah. Where's it going to be located? Do you know that?
It's going to be it starts in Vegas and will end up being most of it taking place in Colorado. So
okay, so around where you're at,
around near where I am, to the west into the mountains. So that's where the gist of the book is going to start to take place. I think there's also going to be a section in Chicago, but it'll be, probably 60-70% of it will take place in Colorado.
Sweet. And do you write every day? Do you discipline yourself every day?
I used to, like I said, I've been so busy this year. I'm hoping to get back into that and trying to write at least every day or every couple of days. So we'll see how that works out. Hopefully it will. It's been just a crazy year, and it's going to be a crazy summer to an extent, but then I think things are going to slow down. So I'll be able to really get back into it and try to get some ink on the paper, as they say.
And the books that you've written, we mentioned that they're all basically mystery, thrillers. Is there any other genre maybe down the road that you'd like to try and write? Are you going to stick to the same?
I think I'll stick with it, with the thriller suspense. I love this gothic romance aspect of this book. So I think that's where people, if they do read it, they'll get an idea what I'm talking about, and I think they'll relate to it, or they'll be able to enjoy that aspect of it. So hopefully, and if they do, I hope I get comments back from them on it.
Yeah, I mean, with your readers, you always want them to leave reviews. Reviews do help.
Reviews are huge. Reviews are huge, and it's like almost pulling teeth to get people to give you a review. And I can understand it takes 3 minutes to do a review, but it takes people got to want to do it. And I look at some of the things on Amazon. I see some of these books that have 10,000 reviews. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, that's a big fives.
Yeah, exactly. How does that happen?
But with reviews too, it pushes the algorithms in Amazon.
It does, exactly.
There's activity, whether it be just browsing, buying, leaving a review. It's activity on that book, and the algorithm picks it up and starts pushing it out.
Exactly.
If the book sits idle, it doesn't start pushing it out.
No.
So there's different ways, and then with the review, it can be just one word: loved it.
Or they don't even have to do it; just give you the 5 stars or the 1 star, whatever they,
just the rating.
Yeah,
just the rating. So they do help, and I emphasize with the readers: you win a giveaway, you read a good book, just pop over for a minute and leave a review. It really, really does help.
It means a lot. It means a lot to an author, especially in this day and age with all the digital world we're living in.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's millions and millions and millions of books out there, and we're just trying to just a little bit.
And because of that, because of the ebooks and everything else, everybody is an author now, and it's saturated. There's no question about it.
It is absolutely saturated, and especially genres like romance. It's a huge, huge genre. Because there's all the subgenres when it comes to romance. You got, enemies to lover and whatever else there is. There's a zillion of them.
Well, I guess you could say Henry Maxwell is a subgenre of romance.
Romance.
The gothic romance.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a gothic romance. When it comes to your preference for reading, do you prefer paperbacks, ebook? How do you read your books?
I prefer a hardcover book or a paperback.
Yeah,
I have read, I do read ebooks occasionally. When I need a book to read, I'll maybe download one or something, but I prefer the old fashioned.
Yeah, me too.
Getting your nose in the pages and doing that.
Yeah, me too. I tried the ebooks and I can't do them because my hand
they're hard.
Screen, I lose the page. I don't know what I do, but I just can't.
I know. I hear you.
Yeah. Real quick, how about authors? What kind of books do you read, and who are some of your favorite authors?
Well, when I first started doing this, I started reading a lot of the thriller people. Steve Barry, who's, I don't know if you're familiar with him, or Douglas Preston and Lincoln Childs. They're a dual author. that do a lot of. They've written like 50 books. I mean, it's amazing. I got to know those folks at Thriller Fest, and I've been recently, the last couple of years, I've been reading a lot of Dan Simmons, who was he went from genre to genre. I don't know if he started in science fiction. He's gone into horror. He's gone into suspense. He's a prolific writer, and he doesn't write anymore though. But and I like the old stuff, some of the old books, like Alexander Dumas and that stuff. Remember growing up as a kid. So my preferences are kind of varied. I don't stick to one thing. I even read Westerns now and then. So
I think it depends on our moods.
It depends. It definitely depends on your mood, and maybe depends on if you're going somewhere and you need something to read. You want to read something that kind of fits with that area or something, So yeah.
It seems like in the wintertime, I prefer more cozy mysteries, murder thrillers.
Right.
In the summertime, it's romance, light reach, so it does.
Yeah.
It is on our moods. And I want to pop this up from Barbara. She says that she's following you on Amazon, Goodreads, and BookBubs, and she leaves reviews.
Oh, thank you, Barbara.
So I want to pop that up for you. And there's many up here that I didn't pop up. They all said they leave reviews. And one more comment. We're going to wrap it up here pretty soon. Janet says, I've read some of the Dan Simmons. Lee, this has been a fascinating chat. I really enjoyed it. I really but what stuck with me about this chat is that you wrote a book with the ending first. That just is up here. Whether or not I'll try it, but I've never heard that before. It just really, really,
probably a dyslexia author or whatever,
I don't know.
Which I don't know either.
But there is a giveaway. I've talked to Shirley, and she's going to be handling that for you. So I'm going to be forwarding the winner to Shirley, who's your PR. And all the live readers here watching us, you are entered in the giveaway. I believe the giveaway is your latest book, The Salvation of Henry Maxwell.
That's correct.
Okay. And do you know if it will be signed, if it's coming from Shirley? I'm not sure.
I'd have to check with her on that. But I'd be glad to sign it if it is coming from them, or I can sign one of mine and let them handle it. But yeah,
I'll check with Shirley, but I don't want to say it is signed without knowing for sure. But the winner will get a copy of the paperback copy of The Salvation of Henry Maxwell. The live readers here are in the drawing, as you already know. And then my regular giveaway, which is the $5 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is share this video from my author page, tag me on the video so I know you shared it, and share it as many times as you like. But the more you share it, the more entries you have, and you will get a $5 Amazon gift card. Lee, I got one final question for you. I almost forgot. What I ask all the authors is, what one piece of advice can you give to an aspiring writer that wants to become a published author?
Well, I think you have to have like 3 or 4 things. You have to have desire, then you have to have perseverance, and then you've got to accept criticism. That's the toughest one, but that's part of the game. And a couple of other things you probably need are some confident that you can, like, your wife, your husband, or your good friend, or likes to, or somebody in the book reading club likes to read some of your stuff. That helps. And, but I think the biggest thing is you have to have the desire first, and then the perseverance. If you can get through those 2 things, I think you're on your way, and just keep at it.
Great advice. Lee, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been very much fun. And thanks to everybody for commenting. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you, readers. And I will see you back in the group and announce the winner in a few hours. Good night, everybody.